Hey, friend, back for another edition of Car Conversations with Kevin. I am Kevin. I'm in my car, and we're going to have a conversation. So it kind of works out. Wanted to talk about today just a quick thought I had about a mindset shift that I made a couple years ago in my private music teaching studio that has made all the difference in not just keeping students, attracting students, retaining students, but just their student growth, which ultimately that's why people take lessons with you, is they take it to get better and to achieve all of their goals and their dreams. So the one shift I made a couple years ago, I was at a music education conference, my former life as a band director, and I was in a session once, and I wish I could remember who did the session or where it came from, but in the session, somebody, whoever was presenting, made a statement that I thought was really fascinating that I really liked, and it's kind of changed the way that I teach, the way that I lead, just the way that I interact day to day life. And that is, I don't teach music, I teach people. So that's a powerful statement, and there's a lot to it. But I wanted to break it down a little bit here because I believe that mindset has made all the difference in my teaching. And I think as a music teacher, we tend to put a lot of thought into our pedagogy, our techniques, the new materials, just all the things that we think make a huge difference. And I think that they do. I think it's important to be on the cutting edge of new materials that are out, always be looking for new ways of teaching the same concept. But I flipped a couple years ago to think about that I teach people, not music, meaning I'm not just trying to take what I do, take the how I teach music and just throw it at you. I'm not trying to just say, hey, if you're going to take lessons with me, like this is the system that you do. I teach the person. So not just in my music students, but just in life, I try to see people as people with strong suits, with weaknesses, with passions, with goals. See people individually and help coach them along to where I think they could be. So I have about 70 students right now. Each one of them, I make a concerted effort every week to get to know them, to get to know their families, their whomever brings them, mom, dad, get to know their life. What are they going through right now? What sports are they playing? What are they doing at church right now? Like, what's going on in their family? All of those things. The reason is, if I can establish a good level of trust with the student and with the parent, with all of those things, if I can be somebody who is just trustworthy, then they're going to be a lot more open to receive the the music instruction they're going to get. And it seems really simple, and when I think about it, and even as I say it out loud, I'm like, oh, that's really simple. It is simple, but not enough teachers are doing that. Not enough leaders are doing that. Not enough people are looking beyond the job that they've been asked to do to reach the people that they've been called to reach. Like, the reality is I think about my music studio, my 70 some students. Each one of them have different rhythms of life. They have different genres they're into. They have different different class schedules. All of those things make a difference in how they perform in our lessons. But if I didn't care about that, I would just say, hey, we're in week 1, you're going to do this material. If they come back in the next week and they're like, hey, we didn't get it done, and I just get on them for it and make them feel bad for it, or if I just condemn them for that, essentially, like if I just make them feel horrible that they didn't get to practice, then yeah, they're not going to have a lot of trust in me. But if I say, oh man, so tell me about your week. Like, you didn't get a good week of practice in. Like, what happened this week, and how can I help set you up for success in the future? Like, how can I help? Maybe we need to like focus on maybe not a longer session. Maybe it's shorter sessions, more shorter sessions. So instead of 3 half-hour blocks, maybe it's 4 or 5 10-minute blocks. You know, maybe it's for that student, they're not able to focus for that 30 minutes. So maybe they need a more kind of qualitative assessment. So I give them 3 exercises to work on, and I say, hey, I want you to play these 3 exercises 3 days this week. And as soon as you're done with that, you're done practicing for the day. Like, all those little things add up to the fact that my students that I have, they love taking lessons with me. I love teaching them. I'm so fortunate to do what I get to do. And man, it clicks in a way that I'm able to build really good loyalty because I teach the person, not the content. And I think that's applicable to every aspect of life. Like, if you are a worship leader, if you're a student pastor, if you are a middle manager, if you're a coordinator, if you're anybody who has a team and has to work with people, you know, if you see the people as people and get to know what makes them tick, what makes them work, what motivates them, conversely, what's demotivating to them. When you see people that way, you're able to build more loyalty. You're able to build more trust in them, and they have more trust in you. And more importantly, man, like, my teaching has just gotten so much better because when I know my students and I think about the long game of working with them, I might be willing to say, hey, these next couple of weeks, you've got AP exams, you've got a busy, playoff schedule in the sport that you're doing, you have a big ballet coming up. Yeah, let's scale back our practice a little bit. And then when that busy season in your sport wraps up, cool, let's ramp up our practice a little bit. Now, I think you can do that in a way, but you can do it in a way that's encouraging and life-giving, but that you're not a doormat where students never practice. Like, we don't want that. Like, I want my students to succeed, and I want them to just have a love of music, whether they're going to be a professional musician one day, like I'm so fortunate to be, or if they're just going to be a hobbyist, just playing in their church or playing with their friends or their family, like whatever the case may be. I want them to enjoy their time that they spend with their instrument, because music is supposed to be enjoyed. And so I want to encourage you today, as you're thinking about your team, as maybe something I've said has kind of resonated with you, of, man, how can I see people as people today? Not as resources, not as another name on a list, but as real people. And how can I serve them today? And if you do those 2 things, you're going to build great loyalty, you're going to be a great boss, you're going to be a great manager, you're going to be a great friend, a great spouse. If you're always thinking about, like, how do I see the person as a person, not as a resource. And so, it's something I've been thinking about, and it's I've never articulated it into words, but man, it's made all the difference. And I don't have students take with me for a little bit and drop. Typically, students who take with me tend to stay because they know that I've built a relationship with them. So not only are they growing like crazy as musicians, but they're also growing as people. And that's ultimately the goal of music lessons, is to grow as a musician, but grow as a person. So I hope that helps. Think about that this week as you go about your day-to-day life. Think about how you can serve your people, how you can see people as people. And let me know in the comments below. Let me know a way that you're going to try to work that out this week. This has been another Car Conversations with Kevin. I am Kevin. I'm in my car, and I'll see you next time.